everyone, Jason here, host of the BombCast. Welcome to episode 35. I've got JK sitting with me, and we're going to talk into a couple things about some cool things that are going on here at BombBomb, which we typically don't do when we first kick off the BombCast, but this is so exciting. Wanted to bring JK on, share everything, and then shortly after he's done, we're going to bring our guest Eileen on, and excited to be talking about some tactics of how you can be using video. So before I go any further on, JK, tell us what's going on here.
Yeah, so BombBomb, we rely heavily on referral business as much as you as a real estate agent do. So right now we have a referral blitz going on. So now through the end of August, the top 25 people who refer the most free trials to BombBomb will be entered in to win a limited edition, limited run BombBomb t-shirt. Only making 25 of them.
Only 25. So I think 25. Matt has a graphic we're going to throw up, show you guys what this t-shirt looks like. So basically all you do is got to get your friends to start a free trial of BombBomb. Yep. We're tracking who's doing that.
Correct.
And if they start a free trial and you are one of our top 25 people, you're going to get this t-shirt, which I think is like on this side or something, sent to you in the mail.
That is correct. Also, when they sign up for an annual BombBomb subscription, you get a $50 Visa gift card, and so do they. So that's some nice reciprocal value as well.
Yeah.
But the t-shirt, just generate free trials.
Awesome. So to do this, what do they need to do?
Well, Allie is going to pin a link below. You can go there, see all you need to do to get started. It's right in your BombBomb account.
Easy to do. All you got to have is your BombBomb account.
Log in, click refer a friend, and you're ready to go.
Awesome. Sweet. Well, if you got questions on that, everyone that's watching, drop it in. Allie and JK will be monitoring those questions. Thanks, man, for coming by. Totally. What a cool opportunity to get a sick t-shirt, which again, I don't remember what side it's on, but I mean, employees don't even necessarily get these t-shirts. It's only the people that are referring. So I'm jealous for those of you that are going to get these t-shirts. So awesome. All right. Thanks, man.
Yeah,
absolutely. Well, thank you everybody for joining us. Saw a bunch of you guys pop on. I am so excited for our guest today who was able to make it. She's currently in Hawaii, who is going through a bit of a hurricane scare, and she was still willing to get up and join us today. So before I go any further on, Eileen, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Aloha from the hurricane state.
Right.
We're kind of in lockdown. The good news is that I still have internet service.
Right. So if we lose Eileen at some point through the BombCast, we know why, but we're not expecting that to happen. We were just talking about prior to this. This is the first time that you guys have ever dealt with a hurricane on the Big Island. Is that right?
Yes, we've had hurricane warnings before, but the Big Island hasn't ever been hit actually head on with a hurricane. But during hurricane season, we always get these warnings, and so we all are prepped. When you're the most isolated population in the world, you got to make sure you got plenty of food, water, and wine.
Yeah, exactly. Well, again, thank you everybody that's watching. Make sure you drop your comments in. We're gonna be getting into some fantastic tactics as Eileen has been using video for a while in her business. But the first thing I just want to kind of kick things off with is, Eileen, tell me a little bit, as you just mentioned, being such an isolated place, how is video become such an important part to your business?
Video was always important to me even before I started BombBomb, but BombBomb was the blessing because it made it so easy. Again, being the most isolated population in the world, my clients aren't here. I can't advertise to them locally. So I have to advertise, as we say, across the pond. We say that here. And most of my clients, the majority, come from Silicon Valley and those areas along, California. So I have to market there. And many times I never meet the people. It's all done by email. And for example, a listing, I have a listing right now for $9 million. I have never met those people.
Wow.
So I have to do everything by email, and I like to do it with BombBomb emails. So, they can put a face with the name and get that know, like, and trust thing going. And so that's in the case of a seller. And then buyers usually you'll get contacted before they arrive at the island. They might say, I'm coming, next month, and I'd like to look at a couple homes. So they don't know you either. So again, with sending them BombBombs, when I send them information, I like, let's say off MLS, I send a BombBomb video and talk to them. And then I always go like this and press on the link below, and, all the.
Right. So I'm curious as how, we talk a lot about this on the show, and it's definitely a theme that's a lot of people are having the conversation around within sales, and this idea of know, like, and trust, and rehumanizing the process. And I think what's fascinating about what you're doing in marketing to people that literally don't ever meet you and get to this level of trusting you to list their $9.5 million property. Give me a little bit of insight and some details around how do you go about actually building trust through these types of videos? Like, tactically, what are you saying, or how do you really approach that?
I just start off with, introducing myself. Hi, I'm Eileen. I wanted to, put a face with the name, and I'm looking forward to working with you. And usually I have some kind of information tied down below, market analysis, whatever it is. And what I find is if I do ever meet them in person, I don't even know what they look like. But, like when I go to meet them and they hug me, like, wow, it's because they think they know me so well, or they do from the BombBomb, but I haven't had the same reaction with them because they don't usually answer me in video.
Right. So I guess what I think is so interesting is that, are you saying that it's really not very hard to build trust, in the sense that just by being able to say a face with the name and providing real value, you're building trust with clients, is getting you business done?
That's what I'm saying. And plus, it's not just one video email. It's everything, all my communications by video. So it's not a one-time deal, and that's how it builds. The more comfortable I've gotten with the video, I don't have to wait till I have my makeup on to send them a video. After a while, here it is. Take it or leave it.
Absolutely. So it's kind of, I guess there's two pieces to it. It's one, just being yourself and putting a face to the name. But then the second piece of it is just consistently communicating with them in a meaningful way and including video into that process. That's really what's giving you that ability to build the know, like, and trust.
Mm-hmm. I think when you implemented screen share, that was something I really needed, because I'm usually going over contracts with them. And so what I'll do is I'll put the contract, sales contract or listing contract, on the BombBomb screen, and then I'll talk through it, and then of course then email it to them, and then they can, instead of just emailing them a 32-page sales contract, I've gone through it on the screen share and explained the, maybe the most important parts. And so it's not as cold,
Yeah. So I think what's awesome, and what I want the audience to be picking up on, is that I think, as I have a lot of conversations with agents and a lot of our guests that we bring on the BombCast, I think sometimes we have a tendency to overcomplicate maybe some of these ideas of what's going to be ultimately developing know, like, and trust, and that you got to have all these tactics, you got to do all these things. But what I love, what you're speaking to, Eileen, is just the simplistic approach of doing it and being consistent. And when that begins to happen, you're getting business done.
Right.
So
I think people get too wrapped up in, and I know I did when I first started, oh no, I can't send them a video because, I just came from the gym, or I just was out in the hurricane, or
right.
You just got to do it. When your dog barks, when you're talking, you're filming and everything, it's just got to be real.
Right. So it's just you. So, let's talk a little bit about some of the other things tactically that you're doing, right? So you're introducing yourself, you're providing value in some of that communication. But I would imagine a lot of these people that are watching are curious about this, $11.5 million sale that you got, sending out a 7-second video. Why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about what you did on that?
Okay. I, again, use BombBomb for everything, my newsletters and so on. I got the listing, and then I thought, okay, again, I kind of have to explain another thing. I live in a resort where nobody else lives practically. We have a 10% owner occupancy. So just in the little gated community I live in, there's 102 units and there's only 10 of us that live here. So I reach out, and in this case, I made a 7-second BombBomb video, and I emailed it to every single person in that neighborhood. And what happened was, like I said, in that video, I had my 3D goggles on, and I said, you don't need to wear these silly things to see this home in 3D. Click on the link below, and then I had the Matterport. Well, thanks to BombBomb, I know who opened it and who looked at it, and my phone was going ding, 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 ding. And I said, whoever this is, because you don't always know it's the person you send it to, because they forward it to people.
Right, right.
So you mistake, like, oh, why did they open that 20 times? But actually they didn't, they forwarded it. And that was the case here. A neighbor down the street forwarded it to friends of his that always like to come. She looked at that BombBomb video 10 times. I'm like, oh, whoever this is going to buy this place. And sure enough, finally, after the 10th look at the Matterport, she called me and she introduced herself, and then she goes, that's amazing. The videos and the Matterport. And I showed her the house, and she bought it that day.
So you did the Matterport, you put the link in underneath the video, you drew people into that, and then based off the tracking, you knew you had some level of interest, and that's what got you the business.
Mm-hmm. I do that a lot as soon as I get a new listing. So.
What do you mean by you do that a lot? Tell me, like, what are some of the other ways? Like, you do the tracking and that process?
Every time I get a new listing, I will send it out to homeowners in the resorts around me. And sometimes I'm not even talking with Matterport. They give you a GIF,
right?
And I'll plug that into the video. I have to change the format, but I plugged my GIF into the BombBomb video, and it just says, even without me talking, it says, click on the link to see this home in 3D. And so I use that a lot.
Very cool. Very cool. Bob just asked a good question about what you're using for screen sharing. Bob, that's actually something that's built into BombBomb. So you can actually do a screen share. You turn your little circle in the bottom right-hand corner, and then whatever's on your screen, you can record. And then that way people can see what you're seeing, and you can do things like Eileen's doing, where she's talking through contracts, talking through numbers. And so that way people can kind of visualize instead of just hearing from you of what's going on. Beyond contracts, Eileen, are there other ways that you're using screen recording?
Yeah. When I'm sending somebody a list of homes, for example, I'll pull the MLS file up on it, and I'll go over it again with the screen share. I'll say, you might like this one. And then I'll be, pointing to see here, it's 3,600 square feet. That's what you were looking for. And I just point to things on the MLS information sheet that is linked below.
That's good. That's good. Katie just asked another good question. How often are you sending a video newsletter to your database?
Usually once a month. And yeah, I don't mail it. I email, and the newsletter isn't what you would think, it's really like, hi, we've had 2 more sales in the neighborhood. you know, it went for this or that. And then I sent one out. Oh, I just finished selling the subdivision that I live in. And there's, as I said, 102 units in here. And so I sent out a newsletter to everybody, the 102 people in here, and said, you know, sold out and all this kind of stuff. And so that was the video email I sent by BombBomb. And then, and of course, I have your custom made templates.
Design template.
Yeah, with my office, all my office information on it. And response from that newsletter was like, okay, I'm glad you sold out. Now what's my unit worth? And I got so many of those feedback that I did a follow-up BombBomb called Because You Asked. Huh. And so I did a BombBomb newsletter out and said, so many of you asked what your property's worth now that we're sold out. I ran a new market analysis. You can, boom, click on it below.
So one of the things that's interesting, you know, a lot of our guests that we bring on, we've covered a lot of topics. And we talk a lot about content marketing and what types of things are you doing. But again, something that just I find so refreshing, Eileen, that you're doing is you're letting the market tell you the type of information they want to be hearing, and you're just serving it up to them. And you're using analytics to drive that. So real data based on clicks and what's happening, and that's what's driving your next activity. Is it really any more complicated than that?
No, it's not complicated at all. Again, I sound like a commercial for you, but because BombBomb makes it so easy, you know, I go to, okay, what am I going to talk about? And then I go to my templates and say, hey, you know, I'll find one that says, hey, it says following up, or, you know, I pick something like that.
Yeah.
And then I just plug in my video. It's that simple. And then, of course, all those emails are in the contacts. So I just have to click on which group it's going to, and it's gone.
Yeah. So one of the other things that's so fascinating, and for anybody that's been following BombBomb over the course of the last year, you'll know back in the spring, myself, Steve, and Ethan, our marketing leadership team here, took a trip to New York City to go visit Gary Vaynerchuk and do his daily digital deep dive. It's called the 4D. And the thing that was interesting is actually Eileen that inspired us to actually pull the trigger and go. And she was part of the second cohort to go through this process with Gary and his team. And so some of the things that I want to kind of dive into a little bit now is, you know, we touched on these simple strategies, these simple things, but you're also paying attention to what's going on in the video space. You clearly made an investment to go spend some time with Gary. And we were talking the other day, you actually just brought out a videographer to shoot an entire day with you, or entire couple days with you. So tell me a little bit about some of that experience of outsourcing videos and kind of the different type of content that you're doing that maybe is a little bit bigger than just what you're doing inside of BombBomb.
First of all, the 4D experience was, you know, off the chart. So even though it was a year ago now, my head's still exploding with it. And the one thing, you know, that Gary said is, you've been selling in that same, you know, resort for 25 years. You are the expert, and you need to say that. And it's very difficult for me to do those bragging things, you know, like, oh, you're in the top 100, yeah, you know, come to this event. And so I'm like no, you know, I'm not good at that part. So yeah. What happened was I hired somebody in my 4D that was with me in 4D out of Colorado. And he has a media company. And he came out and spent, you know, a week, brought his crew. And they just followed me around in my resort lifestyle. And they picked up on it themselves. I mean, they start calling me the mayor because I've been here so long that even the resort itself, it calls me to know something sometimes, because, you know, they haven't been here for 25 years. So they were making jokes about me being the mayor of the resort. But what the feedback from them, and I haven't seen any of the work yet, was that they picked up on something that they felt should be out there that I would never feel comfortable doing. Like saying, "Oh, I'm the expert in the area." So
tell me, like, that process of being videoed, being followed around, kind of putting together a story. How is that different for you than sitting down in front of the camera recording a market update?
Oh, it's so much harder. So much harder because I'm trying to work. I'm showing property, and for example, they went with me to open 2 listings that I was going to show. Well, these are big homes, and again, they're not occupied. And so it takes me 45 minutes to an hour to open them up for viewing. And that's a lot of work. You put the the lanai furniture back out, and it's a lot of work. So, I'm running around doing that, and they're following me. And I'm like, I'm all sweaty. Quit filming me. And then I went in front of the air conditioner, and I just stood there like this because I had like 5 minutes before the showing, and I was just trying to cool off, and they filmed all that. And I'm like, yeah, this is not fun.
So it's that kind of inside look of what it's like to actually be a realtor and to open up a house and to go through that process and kind of documenting the process.
Yes, that's pretty much. They were documenting my life and my lifestyle to put, the emphasis on lifestyle, because that's what I sell, lifestyle. I showed them a clubhouse on the beach while we were there because it was connected with the home. And I said, usually I just take them to this beachfront clubhouse and show them this first, and then they don't care what they buy because they're buying lifestyle. They'll buy a tent. Yeah. Right. So again, Nick was in my 4Ds, and then, we hooked up. So that made it a little more comfortable because I know him.
Yeah. What advice would you give to anyone that's watching that is wanting to maybe do a similar experience of maybe outsourcing some video or begin to put together more of like a pillar piece of content, right? Where it's something that'll go on. And yes, a Gary Vee term, he talks a lot about pillar content, and that's effectively what you are creating. What did you learn through that process, or what advice would you give to the audience or anyone that's maybe looking to do a similar thing?
The advice I'd give, which I learned from Nick, shout out to Nick Stinger at his media company. What I learned is having somebody on the outside looking in was very important, because what I think is normal, they'll say, that's not normal. That's fabulous. People should know about that. So I think they see things that I take for granted. There you go.
Yeah. So that outside perspective helps give you some confidence. And then the real value that you're bringing to the audience and the potential prospects and people that you're looking to connect with.
I'm so busy like doing the work.
Yeah.
That I don't see the big picture that they see.
Right. Well, so for everyone that's watching, I just saw a bunch of people jump on. Thank you guys. Welcome to the BombCast. I'm talking with Eileen about how she's using video in her business, both from the very simple one-to-one messages that's helping build know, like, and trust, to just recently flying out a crew to follow her around for a week to create some content that will talk about the lifestyle that she helps her customers experience when they move to the island. If you have a question, please drop that in. We'd love to be able to answer those before we kind of wrap up our time together. And again, very much of a thank you to Eileen for making the time for us. She's on a big island of Hawaii, and they have a hurricane headed towards them right now. So just the fact that she carved this time out has been awesome. BombBomb. Katie is curious, Eileen, is how many days did you have the film crew working with you?
It was 5 days.
So 5 days of video shoots. Do you know how many pieces of content is going to come out of that?
A lot.
Okay.
A lot. Yeah, I think a whole lot. And it was 5 days, and they, a lot of my socializing is in the evening with homeowners, and they followed me through all that, and they were enjoying the lifestyle during their shoot. Okay, they would take a break and go in the ocean.
Right. Yeah, I was gonna say, if you're gonna go to Hawaii, that's kind of a rough gig to go shoot some video. So
yeah, they drove around the other side to try to get some B-roll of volcano, So they went to Akaka Falls and went to the volcano and all that, and the excuse was that they needed to get B-roll.
Exactly. That's fun. I'm curious, how much storyboarding or how much work went into before they came out? Was there kind of a narrative arc that you went into it knowing that you wanted to develop, or did it just kind of happen as videos started kind of coming together?
Yeah, it was a moving part thing, because they needed to kind of understand my industry. Mm-hmm. So at first, they had a plan. I blew it up because, but I said, I don't need a video about my listing. I have Matterports done on it, every listing and that kind of thing. It's more about the lifestyle. And so they were more than happy to follow me to functions and beach and all that kind of stuff.
Awesome. Well, looks like we got Nick on with us right now. He just dropped a comment in. So hi to Nick. He's watching.
He's probably saying, you screwed up my last name.
No. So that's great. I think that's really helpful for a lot of people. But, again, as we kind of get to the bottom of the hour here and be respectful of your time, I think to me, one of the biggest things, just to recap, is that the importance of not overthinking this video thing, because clearly you're getting real business done by just sitting in front of the laptop and connecting with people. And when you just go back to that basic place, you begin the process of building know, like, and trust through consistency. And I think if just the people that are watching started doing that in their business, whatever form you do that in, it's great if it's on BombBomb or whatever platform, but that's the foundation of building the know, like, and trust. And it doesn't really get any more complicated than that. And I think the people that get too far in their own heads or try to get the strategies behind it, it sometimes goes against you because it loses some of that authenticity and it loses some of that kind of true know, like, and trust because you're trying too hard. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I all the agents in my office have BombBomb because we have an office package,
Yeah.
I'm really always pushing on them. It doesn't need to be perfect, because if you're waiting for it to be perfect, you won't get it out. So perfect doesn't win over getting it done.
Yeah.
And one more thing I'd like to share, I just thought of, again, for my industry, you'll get a lead from realtor.com or Zillow or something like that. And a couple of my agents have finally clinged on, and they respond to a lead with BombBomb. So that is golden, I think.
Yeah. And that works for any industry. If you're getting on any sort of digital lead coming to your inbox, replying with a video is absolutely going to increase your conversion rate with the leads that you're interacting with.
They usually don't give you the right phone number, but you do get the right email because they used it to inquire.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Well, thank you, Eileen. If you have any other questions, drop them in. But again, as I was saying, I want to be respectful of her time. She has some preparation that she needs to go do for the coming day that's ahead of her and the incoming hurricane. So thank you again, Eileen, for your time, your wisdom, your encouragement. To me, I think this is the most important message for people to hear is this element of the simplicity. And when it's done, and when you just get the video out, you're going to get more business done because you're building that know, like, and trust. So thank you for your time. Best to you and everything that's coming your way. Yes. And have a fantastic rest of your day. Thank you guys for joining us on episode 35 of the BombCast. As I've mentioned before, we've got some incredible things coming up in 2 weeks from now, or it might be next week, actually. Coming up is our year anniversary of the BombCast, and we've been lining up some of our favorite guests over the course of the last year to join us in a fantastic conversation around video and the future of video and where we're headed and all of the awesome things that are going on in their businesses across multiple industries. So you're not going to want to miss it. So August 30th, make sure that's on your calendar. If you're with us at the beginning, you heard from JK, our lifecycle manager here at BombBomb, and the referral opportunities that are with us. Make sure you check out that link. If we refer anyone, the top 25 people, we're going to get an exclusive BombBomb t-shirt, which if Matt's throwing that up on the screen, it's like, I think on this side over here, it's right there. It's a killer t-shirt. You're going to get that just for referring people to start a free trial. So thank you guys for your time and attention, and we'll see you next week on the next episode of the BombCast.